welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is going to be a reading for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the week of November 29 to December the 5th. Okay, so let's get started and see what messages we have for Capricorn. We're going to read this card at the end as your closing messages. And we're going to jump right into the tarot this week to see what messages we have for Capricorn as they go through their week. Now, bearing in mind that there is a solar eclipse happening on December the 4th. So at the end of your week, there will be a solar eclipse. And I really feel like it's going to bring in some energy that allows us to make closure, to create closure, to cut cords. I feel like this solar eclipse is going to help us close out the year. It is the last eclipse of this year, and I feel like it's going to bring some insight into the areas that need to be closed. Okay, so let's get started here for Capricorn and see what messages we receive. Okay, Four of Swords. So Capricorn is taking time to reflect right now in sanctuary, in solitude, perhaps really looking at things to understand as they approach the cycle of closure, what needs to be closed out. Now, the Ten of Swords seems to be the obstacle here for Capricorn. So the Ten of Swords is really a time where, again, it is all about closure and endings. And this idea of creating the space to allow something to close. So closure is going to keep Capricorn sort of feeling like they need to reflect more. The idea of closure is creating an atmosphere around Capricorn where they're reflecting on the past. I feel Capricorn is really heavily reflecting on the past, and top of mind is Empress. So top of mind is the divine feminine. Top of mind is creation. You know, top of mind here for Capricorn is the idea of bringing in harmony, abundance, beauty. I really feel like Capricorn's focusing on the future, but that the closure of the past is creating an obstacle here for Capricorn, which is very interesting to see. The thing driving the reading here is the Nine of Cups. So that is really indicative to me that Capricorn is looking to the future, looking how to bring joy and happiness and to have emotional contentment in their life, right? Capricorn has been working on this and working on their own optimism, their own vitality, their own inner emotional satisfaction, right? Like Capricorn has been really working on things, and I feel like this obstacle coming at you here, Capricorn, is something from the past that needs closure, but it's almost like to bring it to closure is going to involve you getting almost re-entangled in this whole thing. And I feel like you've been working really hard to separate yourself from this energy. So perhaps the timing of that solar eclipse is perfect for you, Capricorn, because this Ten of Swords is all about endings. And I feel like something needs to end finally so that you can begin your new chapter the next chapter that you've been working on. Now, in the past, we see, in the recent past, we see the King of Wands energy, which is one where you were really holding your ideals in a very wise way. You were really standing up for your standards. You were connecting things that you had a vision for something, so you would connect it, and you would want to see it develop and evolve, and that was really present for you in the recent past. And I feel like that's been as a result of you healing. I think that your healing has caused this greatness to open up within you. Maybe one that you didn't even realize existed, Capricorn, but one where you started to really understand the wisdom of the experiences that you've had and how they shape what's to come. And in the upcoming future, we see the moon, which is all about more feminine energy here for you from that Empress, but also this idea, very Piscean, of your intuition and your dreams, and this idea that you're working on the shadow. You're healing, Capricorn. And I feel like the mysteries are going to be revealed to you. The ones that have, the questions you ask yourself that keep you up at night, where you're wondering about certain experiences and certain moments in your life where you're like, what did that mean? What was that supposed to teach me? And I feel like in the very near future, it's all going to make sense. And I think it's all because you've been working so hard on healing. You are working on your own healing here. It's very interesting. Your inner dialogue is temperate. Yeah, we see that you are really in a place right now where you're working on balance and clearing out anything that doesn't serve you. And you're being really mindful about it. You're being very mindful, conscious about the thoughts, about turning the autopilot off, about the energy that you sense when you're around certain people. I feel like you're paying attention. This is Archangel Michael's energy here in the Temperance cards, very Sagittarius, and it's really one where I feel like you are connecting in a deeper way because of the healing you've been doing. Capricorn, you have been busy healing, and your healing heals others. Your healing is healing others. Like I feel like whatever you're doing here is having an impact greater than just on yourself. Now, your outer expression is very much one of tapping into your imagination and working on achieving things through your intuitive, sort of imaginative, intuitive inspirations. Like you're connecting and you're not doubting it anymore. You really are connecting to yourself, and there's it is the Eight of Wands is really a time where you see the truth behind yourself, and it's a go for it card. Like, and you're going for it. Like the outer expression of yourself is one who's making big changes that are based on what you feel connects with you. Like you're really gaining that confidence here that we see in the King of Wands in the recent past. You've gained so much confidence as you've been working on healing some of these aspects of your life that need closure. This Ten of Swords, I can't help but think that something huge is coming to a close here for you, Capricorn, and it's challenging you because you need to recover from this. But it's almost like it's going to bring you back into the fold of the drama that involved whatever needs closure here. And I think that you're going to be in a place where you're sort of making a decision between what you're trying to create and then this chapter that needs to close. I feel like they're related, and it's almost going to be a choice for you. Knight of Cups, yeah. And I think that's the idea here, is that this situation doesn't have to be over. That's the issue. And we've been seeing it lots and lots coming up in Capricorn's reading, where it feels like an air sign is coming back. And here's the Knight of Cups. So it's like this Knight of Cups threatens what you're doing right now. It's going to either be you choose the path of closing down the chapter, which would be sort of saying no to this Knight of Cups when he shows up with his offer or her offer, and to say, I'm choosing this path, the one I've been working on creating. And even though there's unknowns to it with this Moon card in the future energies, it's almost like you're like, I know things are going to be fine. I know what I'm creating is based on me healing. And so I don't know. I don't think I'm going to accept this offer. Or you might accept the offer and not close down this chapter. Either way, Four of Swords says you're going to need time to reflect on it, but it's going to be challenging because I feel like you're going to have to choose between this offer to reopen this chapter, or you're going to choose the work you've been doing as expressed by the Empress, the Nine of Cups, and the Eight of Wands. So it's interesting. I feel like Capricorn has to make a choice. You're either going to close down this chapter, and we've all sort of been feeling it like it's with this air sign, or you're going to reopen the chapter and give it another try. Ace of Wands is the final outcome here. So that tells me you're going to go for whatever speaks to you on the deepest level of your intuitive happiness, okay? The Ace of Wands is really a time of new beginnings, potentially in career and involving travel, but really highlights the idea to me of doing whatever makes you feel like you're embracing life fully in every way. So however you feel like you're embracing life fully, Capricorn, I feel like that's the choice to make. And it's going to be different for you, whoever's watching this reading, because it's a general reading. Whatever resonates with you, it might be this new path you've been working on. It might be returning to this chapter instead of closing it. There's no judgment here. It's whatever resonates for you, Capricorn. Let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Bottom of the deck is the Strength card. So I feel like regardless of what you choose here, Capricorn, you're going to meet any obstacle with confidence and with the knowledge that you can do it, right? You can do anything to resolve a situation that comes up, because I feel like you have gained so much courage and strength and control over your emotions and your reactions, that I feel like you're not as triggered. You're more in control now because you've healed. You've been doing so much healing. I don't feel you're as prone to be triggered by this situation anymore. And that if this results in a conversation like we've been seeing in past readings, I feel like whether or not you're open to that conversation, you're going to be very confident in your ability to go whichever way you're going, right? So I don't think confidence, courage, or strength is going to be the issue. The issue, I think, is going to be trust. To me, I'm sensing that the issue is going to be, will you trust this person to not do this to you again? The Ten of Swords is a time where, again, in other decks, it's depicted with an individual laying face down with 10 swords in their back. So here we see it as expressed slightly differently, but the ending is the same. It's closure that's being called for. So I feel, Capricorn, I don't know how much trust you have in this situation anymore. Okay? I feel like this individual was a companion to you. This was a relationship. And there was some betrayal that happened here. The Four of Swords comes right after the Three of Swords. And the Three of Swords is a time where you have been hurt badly. And the Four of Swords is your healing. And so I feel like it's almost like seeing that the Ten of Swords crossing the Four of Swords says to me that if you reopen this chapter, you're going to almost put all that healing you've done to the test, or you put it in jeopardy. You know what I mean? It's going to depend for each Capricorn watching, because of the general nature of this reading. I feel like it's going to, you're choosing. It's a choice. You're either going to choose this person or you're going to choose yourself. And the Knight of Swords is sitting here. I don't know how that happened. It must have been when I moved the deck. But the Knight of Swords, that's our Aquarius. That's our Gemini. That's our air sign. So there's the air sign coming in, wanting to talk. Knight of Swords rushes in because they want to change something. There's a life pattern, sudden change to get ready for. I also see this card as a time where there's a conversation that is needing to happen, or someone's rushing in to talk. And again, it's an air sign. It's interesting because I was just moving the deck around and this card must have gotten left behind. I'll have to look at the video and see. But there's highs and lows associated with this, though, right? There's potential conflict here. This is going to drag you back into the drama, Capricorn. So you got to decide if that's what you want. I'm going to put this card right where it was. That's very interesting. Now, let's see what the message was from the Oracle deck. Number 33, which is a master number, Sun Goddess. I celebrate each sunrise and recognize the healing energies of the sun. Interesting, considering we have a solar eclipse coming up on December the 3rd or 4th, depending on where you live. But what this says to me is that you've healed. You have healed and you have celebrated that healing. Now, if you want to throw the dice and see what happens with this air sign, that's totally up to you. But I mean, you know, I gotta say, I feel like you've healed. And I feel like the part of the story here is to close it, is to bring closure to this. Because you, look at you, you're dancing in the sunlight now, right? And I would hate to see you lose that footing because you recognize that you've healed. Now, this air sign, I feel like is going to come back and want to have a chat, or you're already feeling it. And maybe you're trying to make a decision before it happens. It's very interesting, but you're very healed. And it's like your healing is guiding you on this new path. And I can't help but think I would take the new path, you know? But again, this is for you to decide. And it will be different for every Capricorn watching. But it feels like to me that you've done some work on creating something new for yourself. And that the decision on whether or not to bring closure to this chapter holds a lot. There's a lot in the balance here because you take a chance. I feel like you take a chance. And the thing driving your reading here is this idea of happiness, joy, optimism, this Nine of Cups. This is you fulfilling your wish. This is you feeling completely content. And I don't think that, although I'm just interrupting myself here. I feel like although we are on the path of happiness and joy and optimism now, I feel like that happened because of this situation. So in a sense, it's interesting. Do we need to revisit this or not is the question, because I feel like it did its job. It catalyzed you to heal from whatever it was that you needed to heal from. And so the question is, do you need to go back to this, or is it just fine ending it? Like just closing the book and saying that chapter's closed. I'm grateful for what I learned from it. And now I'm on this new path and I'm feeling really happy and content and in balance, and I've healed and I'm creating something new, and there's some mystery around it, but I'm expressing that mystery. I'm expressing myself. And I feel like this Knight of Cups is marching in. You know, there is an offer coming in here. And the Knight of Cups is a Pisces energy, which is the same as this Moon card. So perhaps you're dealing with an opportunity to close out a chapter with this air sign, but then there's also maybe a Pisces coming in or another energy coming in to make you an offer. So it's really going to be up to you whether or not you decide to bring closure to this or not. But bear in mind, I think you've healed from this. So it's up to you. It's up to you if you want to reopen this wound, quite frankly, and to see, will you heal? Will you be able to remain healed in this dynamic? That's a question that only you can answer. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that for you, Capricorn. If this has resonated and you would like a personal reading, you can find my email in the description below. And as always, thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and watching. And we'll see you again very soon for another reading. Sending you lots of love and light, my friends. Take care.